How old is too old to train your dog? Let's talk about it. I have gotten this question several times because there's this misconception that once your dog hits a certain age or if they're too old, they're untrainable, which is totally untrue. So today, what I want to talk about is how old is too old to train your dog and some factors that may contribute to making that decision if your dog is too old. So let's just jump right into it. How old is too old to train your dog? So it's a big misconception. There is no age that's too old to train your dog, but you do want to take some factors into consideration. You know your dog, you know how they are. So a few factors that you want to take into consideration is their health, right? Because if they're not feeling so well, say they have arthritis or things like that, they may not be able to train or may not be up to training. So you want to take their health in consideration. I always say, think about mobility. How mobile is your dog? Um, and what kind of things are they doing now? It doesn't make sense to train if your dog's in pain or if they have other health issues going on and they're too old. Then you might want to either sit full training out, but I'm always a firm believer in there's always something you can do. You just have to adapt it to your dog's needs. So I don't want to rule out that just because they have health issues they cannot be trained. It just depends on what the health issue is, but definitely take that in consideration. Also, another thing you want to think about when considering if your dog is too old is previous training, right? And so what we have found is that positive reinforcement training is training that actually rewards your dog, is positive. We are reinforcing them for good behavior. And if they had that sort of training earlier on, most likely they'll be excited about doing training again later on in life, opposed to if they went through some type of punishment training or things that, they're kind of like, about why would you want to do that later on? So if you have previously done any type of positive reinforcement training with your dog and they're older now, most likely they will be wanting to do that. Also, look at your dog's motivation, right? Older dogs, they still get motivated. The motivation may change a little bit, just like us humans, as we get older, we may not like some of the same things. So you want to reassess the motivation that your older dog has. Maybe before they love working and training for treats, but now they love play. So you definitely want to use whatever motivates your older dog now to start some training and making sure that, they're gonna, adapt, listen, and things of such. So remember, the key factors are health, training, and your dog's motivation, right? So now that you have that down, moving on to training, what are you going to do to train an older dog, right? So recommendations, I say this with any dog, no matter the age, you want to keep training short, 5 to 10 minute spurts. Especially for an older dog, you don't want to go all aggressive and, do hours long or things like that. 5 to 10 minutes is all they need. And I always say, try to incorporate it with your daily schedule so you're not taking any additional time. With older dogs, you definitely want to do the shorter sessions and spread it out. There's no rush. Consistency and spacing it out for older dogs will be beneficial, just so they're not doing too much at one time. And again, using higher value treats if that's going to be a dog's motivation. So no kibble or things of such, liver treats. I love using cheese sticks and boiled chicken and such. You want to make it a little bit more interesting because remember, your dog's older and they may love new things. Time consideration. We talked about training and 5 to 10 minutes at a time. But when you talk about time consideration, again, slow pace, long distances, making it kind of, steady for the older dogs so they're not getting overwhelmed. And last but not least, this is going to be beneficial for you and your dog. The older dog's going to get more cognitive stimulation. And I've noticed this with my older dog. I had my dog since he was 8 weeks old. I always tell people before I was a trainer. So he has some quirks because remember, I wasn't a trainer only if I knew what I knew now, which I'll probably do another live about that. But even my older dog, as he gets older, I realize like his mental is kind of like, so definitely doing training is going to keep them, cognitively stimulated and is going to, encourage bonding between you and your dog, which at this point, you probably already love your dog either way. So just remember, if anything, your dog is never too old to train. You just want to take those three factors into consideration: your dog's health, previous training, and your dog's motivation. Take your time. 5 to 10 minute training sessions. If you have any questions about, I don't know, if my dog can start training because all these things are going on, I always encourage you to speak with your vet first and figure out with your vet, like, what's your dog's like baseline, what can they do, what can't they do, and figure that out there, and then you start the training with your dog. And as always, once you do all that, if you have training questions, please feel free to reach out. Drop any questions in the comments. I am around to answer those. But as always, I will be back next week with another great topic, and I will see you next week. Bye.